It's a pleasure to join with you today and members of the House and the Senate and other groups to call for common sense spending, to call for a spending plan that doesn't increase taxes, that reins in the excessive spending. You know, as chairman of the House State Government Committee, one of the recent controversies that I've been embroiled in is the Real ID Act controversy. A law that was passed in 2005 by the federal government, a law that usurps states' rights, that will cost our Pennsylvania taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars to implement. And the federal government has not enforced that law since 2005. Well, before Obama's administration left office last week, actually last October, we received a letter telling us that they were really going to enforce it now, here 12 years later, that they were going to start enforcing this law, which was going to cost our taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, we passed a law during the Corbett administration to say, no, we're not going to implement this law that many of us believe is unconstitutional, creates an unfunded mandate on the state, creates a huge cost to our taxpayers, and a huge burden to our drivers. Well, that's an area that we're going to see costs go up if we don't stand strong as a legislative body in the House and the Senate and stand up against what Wolf is calling for, which is just about a Congress and implement this law that usurps states' rights and imposes this huge burden on us, both as citizens and as a state. Hundreds of millions of dollars of new cost. But that pales in comparison to the money that is wasted, as Senator Wagner had said. The waste that goes on in this Capitol and across the state under the guise of state government. And the biggest area of spending, and the area that you can target the most waste, is going to be in the welfare department. An area that when I arrived in the legislature in 1998, that was not spending as much as we saw spent on education at the time, but now has surpassed spending in the budget beyond what we're spending in education, now being one of the largest areas of spending in our budget, welfare. Now, the legislature and the governor conspired to pass a new law and rename it the Human Services Department. But they're not fooling anybody. As I talk to constituents routinely, the largest area of grievance with state government spending comes from welfare. Under the Wolf administration, they've worked to expand welfare in Pennsylvania, to expand Medicaid in Pennsylvania, to include more people as Obamacare allowed for. Well, there's a new sheriff in town, as everybody knows. Obamacare is facing its demise if it already wasn't going to collapse under its own structure. And here at the state level, we need to make sure that we go after the excessive welfare spending that's occurring in this state. Just reducing it by 10% would save our taxpayers over $1 billion a year. More than $1 billion a year by just a 10% reduction, and anybody can find that in their own household. Anybody can find 10% in their own business to reduce. We can certainly find it here in state government that has never been asked to do the same. Thank you.